Hey guys, welcome. It is Tuesday night, Ask the Advocate. I hope you guys are all in from your blizzards. I know it's been bad weather. Jump on. Oh, I know. I like when people say it's skipping. If it's skipping, y'all just hang tight. It's worth the skip. I promise. I love these names. I wasn't that smart. Like, nutty, blah, 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 blah. I'm not like you guys. Creating success. Oh, I know that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Encourage more viewers to share. I'd like to encourage you to have more viewers share. All right, kids. So we are doing our live Ask the Advocate for an hour. And then we have one more before the year ends on... When do we have it, Bonnie? When's the last one? Thursday?
Yes, Thursday.
Thursday at 7 p.m. That'll go on for 17 hours. It will not go on to 7. I know. Look, I just left an event. It was called I Was in the Bathroom. And I just, you know what? When you have sequins, you should put them on, right? Yeah. Not everybody can wear sequins, but I have on sequin top. I have on sequin volleyball shorts, but I'm not going to show you those. That's for another channel. All right. All right. So what's the first question, Alicia?
Okay, so we had someone ask if there's going to be an academy tonight, and if not, when is the first one that they can join?
So the first one is, look at me counting, Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the year. So we always meet at, which is going to be the 3rd, right? January 3rd, yes. 2023. That'll be the first academy. So that'll continue our series. We're in it'll be week 5 of assistive technology. So exciting. So exciting, guys. So you don't want to miss that. That is for another channel, Emilio's wife. You know, these gas prices are high. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Okay.
We have another question. Their child is a VI and is on a 504.
Nope. Offsides, roughing the advocate, 50 yards. Okay, I'm sorry. Did you say their child has a vision impairment and they're on a 504?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. And she said that she was on your live last time when you did that. And so she needs to know how to fix it.
Yeah, you fix it immediately. If your child is VI, that's a federal eligibility. So it's a vision impairment. There is no individual who meets eligibility for a vision impairment who doesn't need service time, IEP goals, supports, accommodations, and modifications, period. It is egregious that 3/4 of American children that are blind, have a vision impairment, are deafblind, or DHH, deaf and hard of hearing, are on a 504. It's unacceptable, period. If you need help with that, reach out to us at admin at Special Education Academy. It's unacceptable.
Yes. Someone said, what happened to the Buc-ee's outfit?
You know, one of my antlers is not standing up, and you know what? I don't put up with that. I didn't know how to make it stand up. Plus, my hair looks so good. I'll put the Buc-ee's outfit on at the end of tomorrow night, okay? Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Tracy's back, and she said, she was like, why to the VI on a 504? And she's like, what district would do that?
It's 3/4 of the children in America. It's not a district. It's everywhere. It is so unacceptable.
Yes. Okay, and then we did have an anonymous one come in. She was asking if she does the 2-day digital, how does she let you know that she completed that so she can do the mastermind?
Oh, just reach out that I've completed it. Just say I've completed it. Love your outfits. And then she can join the mastermind.
Okay, and then her other question was, she is a pretty high-profiled school-based member.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there some way to protect that nobody will, in the group that she's in, will say she was in your mastermind?
So to be in the mastermind, I choose the people that are in my mastermind to be in the mastermind, which everybody behind me that are lovely helping me tonight have all been in the mastermind, and they have to sign an NDA. And any violation of that immediately removes you from any benefit, period. So if you want to put that your name is, Mickey Mouse on your screen, none of the recordings, nothing is recorded, nothing is sold, nothing is chopped up for other content. It is completely private for that mastermind. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Someone said if something is in the IEP for the whole year, can they change it at the beginning of the year?
We change things based on one 4-letter word. What is that, ladies?
Data.
Data. So if you have new data that rises to the level of us sitting down and talking about adjustments to the IEP document, I am amenable to that. But without new data, it's simply an opinion. An opinion is something that cannot be verified.
Yes. Someone said you're so stinking cute.
It's good lighting. Thank you.
If I ask for the raw data collections and they don't have it, how should I proceed?
So one of the documents, we provide you a lot of documents, a lot of resources in the Academy weekly. And then it's also, they're saved on the archive videos, but we have an amazing document for you guys to have a FERPA or FOIA request so that you can get open records. And here's the thing, the evidence supports it was done. The lack of evidence supports that it was never done. So when you pull open records, there should be raw data collection sheets that should be in the open records. It's part of your cumulative folder. If it's not there, it's because it didn't happen.
Amen. Tracy wanted you to know she really enjoyed your live last night.
Oh, thank you, Tracy. Is Tracy Wilson part of like a singing group? I feel like she might be.
She should be, right?
Yeah.
Someone asked, in what situations should ERMHS be implemented? A lot of letters.
Something high school? ERMA. I don't know what that means.
Okay, Mary, can you spell it out for us? And then what? We'll re-ask the question.
No. No pun intended. Can you spell it out for us?
Spell it out for us.
Yeah.
Baxley Barn said, you have to FOIA your own kids. Beep.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. It's amazing. It's amazing, the Freedom of Information Act and how little is actually in your open records.
Yes, I agree. Val Mom said, I can't thank you enough for all that you share. You're a real life hero.
Oh, thank you. Love you guys right back.
Graham Johnson is back, and he said, what should I expect at my first IEP meeting as an administrator?
You should expect to lead the meeting. I would love when administrators step up and lead the meeting. Usually in a meeting, it's just whatever. Nobody's leading it. And so we would appreciate if administrators did that.
Yes. We love a good admin who listens to the parents.
Listen. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Carly in Dallas says, hi, I want to become an advocate for kids and parents. Do you have trainings?
Well, I do have training. We have training. We have Special Education Academy, which is the academy is weekly, every Tuesday night except for tonight. It's the last Tuesday of the year. And we train on the law, the federal law. We don't train on opinions. There's hundreds of hours of it archived that you can log into at any time. There's no contract. We have a 2-day intensive, which is in person in Houston, or you can do it digital on demand. And then we have a 10-week, 20-hour mastermind.
Awesome. And then I'm going to ask one more, and then Bonnie's going to take over. Brandy asks if there is... Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry, I scrolled. Lisa asks, I just found out that my son's IEP manager never put in the amended accommodations. What do I do?
When you... well, first, you need to find out if the accommodations occurred. If it's a possibility that they occurred without them being in the document. But I would email and say we need to come back to the table to fix this clerical error, and please confirm that my child's support services and accommodations weren't denied.
All right, and Alaska Blue is asking, where can we find advocates in my state? So I'm assuming Alaska.
Yeah, so we love Alaska. Wasn't there somebody in your training, Alicia, from Alaska? Was that in your virtual?
Yes.
Yes. Who knew Alaska had another time zone? I didn't. I'm sure they told us that in high school. I was probably talking. So if you are looking for an advocate, the first thing that I would do is I would reach out to your state education agency, your DOE, your Department of Education. They usually have a list of attorneys, and then they have a list of advocates that are used in the state. They don't endorse them. They're just people that are used frequently and probably come before hearing officers. Second, I would reach out to COPA, Coalition of Parent Advocates and Attorneys. And then we, Special Education Academy, we have a team of advocates that have been personally, painstakingly trained by myself for hundreds of hours, and will provide you the exact level of product and service that I would if I represented you. You could just reach out to admin at Special Education Academy.
All right, and Lisa is asking, can I ask for a copy of the draft IEP before the meeting? It appears that all decisions were made prior.
Yeah, so I always ask for a copy ahead of time. There's no legal requirement, no matter what you were told. There's no legal requirement for the school to give you a draft ahead of time. That's not a legal requirement. That's just something that's made up. It sounds good, doesn't it? It would be helpful. So I always send this email. Please provide us a full draft copy of the IEP document prior to the meeting so that we may fully prepare. Without that full draft ahead of time, it may be unlikely for my client to make an informed decision, and we would have to reschedule.
Okay, and Mary defined the ERMHS. It stands for Educational Related Mental Health Services. She said she's in the state of California. It was suggested in the IEP.
Right, so that sounds like wraparound services. So if the committee accepted them, then I assume that we're going to implement that for the student. There are some states that provide more services than just the standard product that's delivered in the school system. But if that's been proposed and the parents want to accept that, I certainly would.
Okay, and when is the training in Houston?
January 14th and 15th. Is that right, kids? Yes. Is that right? Yes.
Yes.
And then February 18th and 19th.
Perfect. And when an IEP has references of, quote, social interactions, how do you enforce the teachers to adhere to it?
So you want to make sure at the bottom of the IEP goal, there's somebody that says implementer. And that's the person responsible for working on the SDI, the specially designed instruction, teaching the child the skill deficit that you've identified, especially as it relates to a behavior goal, a social goal, an emotional goal, a functional goal. Are we assuming that all 7 teachers are going to do it? That's the first thing that you have to establish. Who is on the hook for delivering that? Often those are just delivered while they're in social skills training, which is great, but then you have no generalization, maintenance, or fluency. So I would go back and check that.
Okay, and then someone's asking, how do you fight predetermination?
I make sure that that there is a robust conversation in the IEP meeting, and then whatever the proposal is, it's just a proposal. For you to convince me of your position, just like if I'm going to convince you of my position, it's only based on data. So either you have data to support your proposal or you don't. And with that data, we don't make changes.
All right, and Miss Jamie Lynn is asking, in a moderate severe class, when the child is with gen ed during lunch and recess, does it go against the IEP if the teacher does not take them to recess?
Does it go against the IEP? So whatever's part of their schedule of service has to be implemented, whether it's general ed, special ed, in-class support, accommodated. You have to implement the entire document. You worked on a document that was from bell to bell or bus to bus. So delivering it's not an option.
Hey, Jen has a good question that says, what does she do if the child is doing so well that they are considering removing accommodations and resource time?
I would say they're probably doing so good because they have accommodations and resource time. It's sort of like saying if somebody was taking medicine because they were sad and now they take this medicine, they're not sad anymore. You wouldn't go, well, listen, they're not sad anymore. Let's take the medicine away. So again, any change, I'm only going to lean in and have a conversation with you based on data. And I'm happy to wait for you to get the data, but your opinion might cripple a child's future. So we're not doing that.
And Rachel asks, if you have a 504, can they tell you you can't get an IEP? ADHD is the diagnosis.
No, they wouldn't tell me that because that's when I would pull out the pool noodle from the Dollar General and bonk them on the head. So both documents required an identified eligibility, right? 504, you have to have a disability. An IEP, you have to have a disability, right? So the IEP says that I'm in need of time from a special ed teacher, services, support, accommodations, and or modifications. A 504 is really good for folding up into 4 pieces and putting under a cold Coke can. And I'll stand by that.
Okay, Blondie is asking, she's a first year special ed teacher and she has a student that needs an LRE change. How can she help him?
She can provide the data to the committee that supports that decision.
Okay. Another question here. Can I ask the school to do ABA for a bit?
So ABA is not a requirement under IDEA. It is not a requirement under IDEA. It's a phenomenal product for children at unique times, but it's not a product that there's an onus to deliver in school districts. There are some school districts who are blessed to have an ABA therapist and use some of their practices, but ABA is not under IDEA, nor is it something that you can require.
Okay. What do you do after getting your student records and there's no data collection sheets?
Well, so I would probably reach out to an amazing advocate and have somebody file on my behalf, either at the state level or a federal complaint with U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights. You can only assume, unfortunately, that if the records are not in there, no records were taken. And we are charged with calculating and collaborating and keeping records, whether you're a general ed teacher or a special ed teacher. It's beyond me when teachers tell me, why would they collect data? I'm like, because you're a teacher? Aren't you a data collector of the little children? Yeah.
Okay, Carrie in Dallas is asking, can a parent observe their child during the school day? Is there a law granting permission?
There's no requirement for the school to let you observe your child during the school day. There isn't. I certainly understand parents wanting to see something. I'm also the advocate that makes sure that my client follows my lead. My parents don't work in that classroom, and I don't want my parents volunteering. I don't want them peeking over the ledge. It makes them crazier than they already are. All parents, we're all crazy about our kids, right? It's the school's job to deliver an educational product. And when you get to that point, you need to sit down with somebody that can represent you and have a conversation about real possible outcomes. I think parents are often not clear about real possible outcomes or real possible options, right? And so a good advocate's going to show you them. And everybody here behind the screen that's serving me, I've made them all mad. They're all nodding. Because I'm not here for you to like me. I'm not in the like you business. That's why I'm on TikTok. I'm in the effective business. If you want to be liked, I don't know where that is, but it's not here. So I train myself and my advocates to stand up and take the first hit, but we're taking the hit for the child. And so parents have to understand, my job when I'm prepping a client is why? Why do you want to go observe your child, right? And so if your child needs something different, then we can sit down at the table and talk about those options. But you looking at a classroom, you don't have enough context about what's going on. You don't know what's going on with the other kids. You don't know if they have a 504 or an IEP. So even just observing is going to skew the information you have because you don't know their unique situation. So I would never have a client go observe their child, because what are they doing? Then they're going to tell the school how to do a better job. So.
Okay, we had an anonymous question come in. A student with an IEP, can they fail a class?
So let's talk about that. A student with an IEP, can they fail a class? And so I did a previous video about this that has gotten much Velcro, and I'm here for it. So when I hear people duet my video, and you're welcome to do this, and they say, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I got this kid, he's got 4 Fs, and I asked him if he cared, he doesn't even care. And I asked the mom, and she doesn't even care. You are ridiculous if you think you know what's going on in somebody's head. You're ridiculous if you think you know what's going on at a teenager's house. You're ridiculous if you think that you know that somebody cares or doesn't care. You don't know what's going on inside of a human. You certainly don't know what goes on at their house. And I've had people tell me that behavior kiddos, the ones I'm talking about, nothing bad happened to them. Really? You live in their house, you know what goes on, you've lived their life. No, you don't know. So what I do know is that when we find out the root cause of the outcome, we can better serve a child in special education. So my answer doesn't move. I don't move. I don't waver, waffle, or water it down. Children with an IEP, the onus is on the team. Like I said, operator error. And I say the operator error all the time. I never made a video and said it's the teacher's fault. The operators are admin, teachers, paras, LSSP, diagnostician, related service providers. There's a reason that this is the outcome. So I don't believe that schools, based on my experience, I do about 500 IEP years, 500 IEPs a year, it feels like 500 years, do a robust job of getting to the root cause of why a child is failing. And so he didn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. Well, he's learned that stops the conversation. When I say that to you, you stop talking to me, right? And so kids or children, they don't have a choice being here. They didn't get to decide, oh, I'm going to grow up and go to school all day long and have a disability. So my position doesn't change. We don't do a good enough job, especially in the older years. Like this teacher said, well, she's in junior high. What does that mean? She didn't even have all of her teeth, right? Do we let junior high kids buy a house? Do we leave them alone with your finances? No. So we need to step back and take some accountability about how much we really know about these kids, how much you know about their FIE, how much you know about their brain skills, how much you know about their language deficits, and we don't. So build commitment and covenant with people, and you'll get clarity.
All right. What are the next steps if RTI is not successful?
Well, we refer to a full evaluation for special education, right? RTI is to see if the teacher can mitigate it on her own in the classroom. And if she can't, then let's support her with a full individualized evaluation to see if the student is in need of special education and or related services.
Okay, and then this was from Tides 55. My twins went from an educational IEP to a health IEP because of ADHD and testing for ASD. What are the benefits of the switch?
Okay, there's not What? That's not a thing. This is not a thing. You either have an IEP or you don't. You either color your hair or you don't. There's not an educational IEP and a health IEP. Lord. You either have an IEP or you don't. So this wordsmithing thing makes me crazy. I don't like crazy. So you have an IEP because you have unique circumstances that rise to the level of education and specially designed instruction. So if your unique circumstances are because of an educational medical disability, then I would want to know what are the IEP goals around my educational need.
Okay, very good. So this question is regarding, they have a diagnosed anxious kiddo, a lot of school avoidance. How hard is it to get assistance on the IEP, and what would that look like?
So first we do a full evaluation, and depending on the child's age, when you say school avoidance, I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's in a car seat and he's, tearing up when you pull up. I don't know if he's in, junior high, but I would have a robust evaluation to include parent training, in-home training, and make sure that we understand his full needs.
Excellent. So one of my favorite kind of questions, can adaptive seating be included in IEP?
Funyuns can be included in IEP. If we decide a student needs something to benefit from their educational program, then we put it in there.
Okay. And then Lizzie Megan 1 wants to know, what are your thoughts on holding off on a placement change due to not having an FBA or a BIP?
So if the FBA, which then may give birth to a BIP, is necessary for the consideration of a placement change, then it's a non-negotiable. But if there's a consideration for a placement change, then we sit down at the table and have a conversation about that. That conversation may be, then we need these evaluations to be able to make an informed decision, but we don't just wait.
Okay, very good. User sending money. My autistic daughter was denied an IEP because she is doing okay academically, but they qualified her for a 504.
Which means she has a disability, right? I don't know what doing okay academically has to do with anything in the federal law. It's just stuff that we made up, right? So I don't know what percentage of my kiddos are ADD or have autism or are emotional or have emotional disturbance, and they have no academic goals. So you are being sold some snake oil when people say that to you. You have a disability. Are you in need of somebody teaching you specific strategies and skills to mitigate the impact of that disability? If you are, you want an IEP. If you want a piece of paper that says you can get accommodations, then you would select a 504. But it's pretty snake oil. Is it pretty snake oil? Is it like Moroccan oil?
What would you do if you received your data collection sheets from district and they were all clearly written in one sitting?
Oh, the same thing I always do. I would have a conversation with somebody about that. A lot of things I am not smart, not one of them.
And then along the same lines, can I ask for my child's data records at any time?
You are entitled, it's one of your procedural rights and your parental rights to access your student's education records by viewing or copy or a set delivered to you. It's your procedural right. It's your child. It's your child's records.
Very good. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Someone said, looking good, Blondie.
Thank you. That's my goal.
That's right.
Someone else asked where you got your jacket from.
Same place I get everything from. Say it with me.
Talbot's.
Talbot's. Yeah. Jacket,
here's a good
shirt.
Jacket, shirt,
socks.
Everything. We're very sparkly this evening.
We're very sparkly because it's 'tis the season to be sparkly.
Yes.
Yeah, I have some matching shorts. I know you weren't on, Christina. I have matching shorts with this. They're volleyball shorts, but that's for another channel I have.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. My son works great for snacks, but the school says they can implement food in the IEP. I'm assuming they probably meant can't.
Of course they can. FMNV. Foods, FM. Is it FM? Yeah, FMNV. FMNV. Foods of minimal nutritional value. Of course we can use food to reinforce a student if that's amenable to the committee. Yes, I do have a comedy channel.
Yes, you just saw that. I was like, oh.
That's funny. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Does one of the cool kids, Alicia, will you put that, will you tell where that is on the YouTube?
Yes, ma'am.
My school is not reviewing or updating my child's 504. No meetings. What should we do?
Get an IEP. There's no requirement, love. There's no requirement. A 504 was never meant to be an educational product. That's why it's called a civil right. I don't know why anybody on the planet, even my ex-husband, would want a 504. I have no bandwidth to understand that. Zero.
And then someone just asked, do we learn all of the verbiage and acronyms that we're using in the academy?
I mean, you can never learn all the acronyms, as we heard tonight. There's acronyms for acronyms for acronyms, but you're certainly going to learn, the top 20 that you're going to see in an IEP document for certain.
Oh, Lordy, Karen. How do we go about making accommodations for a kiddo who can't always get to school because their wheelchair is broken?
So if a student needs something to benefit from his education, the district can provide that while they're enrolled in school. So if he needs a wheelchair, then the school can purchase one. If he needs a white cane, the school can purchase one. If he needs a stander, the school can purchase one.
Oh, this is lovely. H. Manny said, I'm an SLP on an IEP team, and I would feel so safe with you advocating for my kiddos.
Oh, thank you.
We love SLPs.
We love SLPs. They're so stinking smart.
They are.
I have a fun question.
Okay.
Someone says, what would you say was the inspiration for the decor choice?
Behind me?
Yeah.
Monochromatic. I don't know how you spell that, but it means when things are kind of the same color. Mm-hmm.
And then we had one that I've seen a few times, and I think the ladies might have missed it. She said, "Do you know the term global learner, and can you explain?"
Yes, it's not a thing. Yeah, it's just we've made up these words that we heard at seminars, and it sounds great. I mean, it's probably a thing, but it's not an educational federal eligibility. So I always try to make sure that when I teach and train, that we're using not the now word, not the cool word, not the it word, right? But what is under IDEA? What is under 504? And that's the language that we use.
Nikki asked, what happens if the child is not making progress on the goals? What are the next steps?
So we sit down with the committee and talk about the reasons we believe as a committee that expected rate of progress has not been attained. And that can be a number of issues. And then we make adjustments to those IEP goals, supports, strategies, and time.
Okay. And my son has a 504 in place, but my gut tells me he needs more. Grades are falling now, and they won't assess, I think is what she was trying to say. Retest him, sorry. And they said he doesn't qualify for more help.
Okay, so if it's been over 1 year since the testing, you can have new testing. So you're allowed to have new testing for special education annually, even if they're on a 504.
Okay, Mama Bear says, my 16-year-old son has autism, and because he gets good grades, they say he doesn't qualify for an IEP.
So you could have autism and not qualify for an IEP. Remember, it's about what is the educational needs. What is the educational need? So if you have autism, the law, just the DSM-5 criteria says that you have deficits in verbal and nonverbal communication. You could have all A's, but have deficits in that. So probably would have language, probably would have social skills, communication, counseling related service, any related services that would benefit him as well.
Okay, and then I live in Kentucky and struggle with the school. Says they will do ABA, but nothing has happened. How long do I wait?
That's interesting. We've had so many people in the academy and the 2-day in Kentucky, which is beautiful, but they need some help. So I send emails. We always do a paper trail. This is my second request for support. This is my third request for support, and I send them daily until I get movement. At this point, if I were you, I would just reach out to the special education director and say, I would like to set up a real quick phone call or Zoom to talk about some concerns I have. I'd like to set up a phone call or a quick Zoom to talk about some concerns that I have. And I would only meet with her. Moment of silence for Kentucky. Yes.
Spencer says, as a new school counselor, I just want to say thank you. So little is taught in the master's program.
Oh, you're welcome, dear.
Okay, and then is it better to be under a 504 or under an OHI in SPED?
Everything's better in SPED. I cannot think of anybody. Literally, I can think of one child. She was amazing. She had 138 IQ, and we got her in a 504 for dyslexia. She was just genius, but she was dyslexic. And she went through that dyslexia program like nobody. But she was a unicorn. She's an outlier. Kids need to be on an IEP. We don't put kids on an IEP because a 504 costs them $0 a year. Or maybe $1, or at the most $2. An IEP is going to cost a district thousands of dollars. You tell me the math on that.
Okay, and can a school decide to remove a child from their current?
A school doesn't get to decide anything because the school is not the totality of the IEP committee. The committee makes decisions that benefit the student.
So this one says, school says parents have to purchase FM system for DHH student because no other DHH student in his school. Maybe
the parents also need to pay for the ramp if only one person uses a wheelchair. You're kidding, right? I would ask for that in writing so I could send it immediately to the Americans with Disabilities Act and OCR. Like, please put that in writing so I can reach out to my friend Karen. Yeah.
Okay, and then this one says, I'm an advocate for Spanish-speaking families, but I do need more training. Any suggestions?
Yes, and we need Spanish-speaking advocates. Conmigo en género. I don't know if that was Spanish, but I feel like it was really close. So please, we have so many people requesting that. Yeah. I do know that I got part of that right. We just border Mexico, so my Spanish is so good.
Okay, and then can IEP students get a diploma?
What? Oh my gosh. The shenanigans that are just the whole fear that we shove down parents' throats is disgusting. Whether they're gen ed, 504, I'm sorry, there's a lot of liars in school districts. I'm sure none of you find people, but really, do you sleep at night? Of course you get a diploma. That means that you met the credit requirements for that school.
And a few people are asking about the trainings, where to find them.
They are at the link above my tiny hairdo at specialeducationacademy.com. There's a link in the bio. There's a tree in the link of the deal. Yes, and your friends will put it in there. So specialeducationacademy.com.
I think Shannon has some questions. Oh, Christina?
Yes, we've got a question here. My son, 11th grade on IEP, ELA teacher requires him to stay after. Is this required?
What? No. That sounds actually creepy. I don't know who the ELA teacher is, but you just tell her that Mayer Cunningham said, stop it now. And I would say it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now. Okay. Okay, here we've got a question. IEP can have no educational goals for medical disability?
Sure they could. I've got kids all over the place on an IEP, and their only eligibility is diabetes. And so they have goals for self-advocacy. They track their own levels and put it on their paper before they test so that they're in the right zone. And we have travel training so they can use their time efficiently to also address their medical needs. So that is just goofiness. If we don't do anything well in the 2-day, we teach you guys how to write IEP goals. We demystify it. Yes.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I'm a jump ahead. Are substitute teachers required to provide accommodations? Yes, if they're substitute teaching.
How do we find info for your training date and locations?
It's in the link. Everything's in the link.
Okay.
Somebody asked, I'm just going to jump in. Somebody asked for the best textbook about special education law. You know what I would buy? The special education law. That's what we train out of. This book. And do we love Pete Wright? We do love Pete Wright. But this is the actual law. Pete Wright, his two best books are Special Education Advocacy, Special Education Law, and then Emotions to Advocacy. They're great. Pete Wright, his website's amazing.
I have one. It says, it's from Peyton. What do you have to say to a teacher who is planning to get their master's in education, 30 plus years in special education? Any advice?
Any advice about acquiring a master's degree?
Or just any advice?
I would say thank you for loving our kiddos. We love great teachers and special education teachers and paras. Thank you for serving our students.
Yes. Amen to that.
Mm-hmm. Because if you didn't take them at school, they would come back to our houses. So we're very thankful.
I know. All 4 of mine have been here all week. Can they go back to school, please?
Yeah, I like Christmas break, but I don't know why the kids have to come home. That really cuts into the parents' break.
How do I get a student back on an IEP after I have been convinced he no longer needed one?
I want my child to go back on IEP. So if it's within a year, you already have the data to support that. If it's outside of a year, just ask for new testing.
Robin asks, is there a cap on how many kids a school district can have in special education?
Nope, unless you're in Texas. We actually put a cap on the entire state, 8.5%, which that report came out in 2016, and then we sat in front of the federal government telling our concerns, and allegedly it stopped in Texas. Allegedly.
They're asking if you can show the book again.
I can show the book again. How was that? Was that too fast? I'm sorry. This is the book. This is the Office of the Federal Register. It's volume 2 of 4. It's the actual law. So when I teach people, I teach them where the statutes are. I don't just come in and say, hey, did you know that parent concerns for enhancing the education of their child goes in the present levels? We'll put it in the deliberations. You know what? You're going to put it in the present levels. No, we're not. Actually, the IDA statute says that. And then I provide that to the committee. So we only make decisions based on IDEA and the student's unique needs and their data, period. Someone is asking where can they submit their questions. So I guess if they want to remain anonymous. Yeah, just email us at admin@specialeducationacademy.com. Yes. What do I do next if I need to request for the second time to view the records? It's been way over 45 days. Did you request to review the records, or did you put in a legal records request? So you make a legal records request, you drive, this is driving, down to legal, you present 2 copies to the clerk and say, this is my formal request for my students' records. Have them sign that. That starts a 45-day timeline. I don't know why people ask their teacher or their principal. It doesn't happen there. It happens in legal in your school district. And then someone said they are a new school counselor and they wanted to say thank you because they were taught so little of this in their master's program. You are welcome. Thank you for serving kids. Yes. And then, so can I only, oh wait, that's wrong. Can I only? Oh, I get it. Can I only get the link if I subscribe? No, so the link is in her link tree. So you won't be able to see it on her live, but when you go to her page, you'll be able to see the link in her bio. I figured out what they were asking. What she said. I don't even know what the links are. I hope they're sausage links. Those are my favorite kinds of links. Someone asked, how would I add a subject for an IEP? He only has math right now. How would I add a subject in the IEP? If a student needs special education in a specific content area, then we add that. Has nothing to do, you don't have to have a math eligibility to get special ed support in math. That's goof-y. If you have a need and it's identified, even if it's not an eligibility, as indicated in Andrew F. March 22nd, 2017, we have an identified deficit. We have to teach a child a skill. Then we write an IEP goal around that and provide supports. Someone asked, what is a PLAF? Present levels of academic achievement and functional performance. It's a snapshot. It's a narrative. It's a description of the child's unique circumstances from bell to bell in each content area. And it gives you a pristine understanding of their needs as it relates to general education and special education. Token Cheathead asked, are supplementary aids and services for Gen Ed to implement in Gen Ed settings? Supplementary aids and services are for the student that has an IEP during the instructional day. Some of that may occur in general ed, of course. Yes. Mama Bear asks, can we hire you personally to attend IEP meetings? Our district is horrible to families. Absolutely. I'm hireable. I love that. Hireable. I'm sure that's, had I actually graduated college, I would have used a fancier word. Derek says, how do we as teachers help students who are not doing any of their work? I've tried everything. And and thank you, Derek, for teaching kiddos. We can only do so much. I can't force an accommodation on a human. I can't force a child to wear their glasses if they have a need for them. All you can do is do your job with fidelity to the best of your ability. I don't run across parents that have teachers that are doing a great job and they're not happy. That's not why people hire me. People hire me because they've exhausted their emotions and beating their head against the wall to get somebody to listen just for a moment for their kids' needs. So there are limits to what one teacher can provide to a student. I would reach out to admin and say, I've hit a wall with this student. Is there some way that you can support me? I would ask for a district assist. Maybe somebody from the district level could come in and give me new ideas or strategies. But, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for progress. Boom. Someone asked, can I request a para for emotional support? No. No. We request support so the student can access the general education curriculum. I don't doubt that the student needs support, but we provide special education where it's needed solely. We deliver it with great fidelity, and then we fade that because we taught a student a skill. I think many times schools over-support kids because they're scared of the parents or they're scared of the advocate. And what you've done is you've crippled that student because there's not going to be an emotional support person for Bob when he's 28. There's not going to be somebody that's going to scribe for your kid when they're 27. There's not going to be somebody that's going to give you an oral assessment so you can get a driver's license. And we've crippled children because we feel bad for them. There's no feelings involved in special ed. There are business decisions to make for the student to be successful for gainful employment, independent living, and further education.
Yes.
That's a really good answer. I don't know where that came.
It was really good.
The prompter just spit it. That was good. Thank you. I think we're past the offering plate now. That was a really good time. That was good. Yeah, and I want you to know that we mean that. I don't blame people. What a waste of time. If I'm going to blame somebody, it's going to be me. What didn't I do as an advocate to bring this committee together to serve these kiddos? So instead of blaming people, why don't we go, wow, I do need to get some soap and wash my hands. I do need to try another way. And there are people that aren't meant to be in education. I would never be in education. I have no idea why humans take other people's tax write-off for the whole day and teach them. That's bizarre to me. You guys are angels. I would never be a teacher in a school. I love to teach adults. I love to train. So thank you for doing that. And if it's something that you can still do and you still love, we are so very, very grateful and would do anything to support you. But I know that there are many people, not everybody, that are in school settings where they're not supported as teachers or paras or psychiatrists or psychologists or behavior specialists or principals because they call us. They call my advocates every day. And so I do want you to know that if you love children and you're in education and you're thinking of another avenue, we would love to train you so that you on your own can go out and serve a population that's in desperate need of leadership.
Wendy said, I'm a SPED teacher and all parents have to do is ask for records and I provide them. No
Wendy,
problem.
Can we just tell Wendy that we love her?
We love you, Wendy.
If it gets out, Wendy, we're all going to come. We're all just going to go to Wendy. Whatever state you're in, just call Wendy. She's going to get your records. Thank you.
She got it. She's going to handle it. She's going to also make a video tutorial for all the other teachers so she can teach them how to do that.
And Wendy, when you make that, I will do it. Yes.
Any ideas for different supports for extreme behaviors at school? Nothing is working.
Yeah.
And she sent like a tired, exhausted face.
Yeah. Here's the book again. There it is. And if you send us an email, I mean, we'll put this, we'll link it in the link of the deal of the thing. You know, when you're having something that's extreme in your class, whatever that is, I'm going to ask for a district assist. 85% of the school budget goes to the people at the district level. So we need to mobilize them and have them come to your campus and to serve the population.
Okay, and I know you have to get off in 10 minutes, so we're going to do 5 more questions.
Wait, we need to know where Wendy's from because we're all calling Wendy. What's your number, Wendy? 8675309.
309, yeah.
Ma'am.
Wendy said Arkansas.
Arkansas. So I'm coming to, right, Alicia? I'm coming to Oklahoma,
Yes.
Arkansas. Are they attached to other states?
Yeah, like Missouri. I mean, they're attached to a few different states.
Well, I've already
now.
been to Missouri Muffin.
I know.
Yeah.
They're attached to Alabama. They're all over there.
Arkansas is not attached to Alabama. Please forgive her. She's from another country, Louisiana. They didn't have geography. I'm
Hold
sure
on.
Is Alabama attached to Arkansas? I don't think
Yeah,
no, this
excuse
Pete Wright. Pete Wright didn't write this book, you guys. I wish he did, but he'd get quite the kickback. This is the Office of Federal Register. Right. I wish I wrote this book. If I wrote this book, this would have eyebrow tutorials in here. So this is the federal law. It's about $40 on the Amazon. Yes, we're coming to all the states. We're starting that tour again in February. So if you are in a state and you want to bring us in, then just reach out to Advocate at specialeducationacademy.com and we'll let you know how to get me there.
Yeah, you've already done all the states that connect to Oklahoma and Arkansas. So you would just go to them two.
Thank you.
On that world tour. Okay.
On the world tour.
5 questions. You ready?
Yeah, fire away.
Fire away. If a student has an IEP and is on the diploma track, should we modify the curriculum?
What? If a student has an IEP, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to modify. So when you modify something, you change what they learn. When you accommodate something, you change how they learn. I do need to add my Blazers to my link tree only if Talbots would sponsor me. I don't know what the holdup is.
I know. I've sent emails. I don't know what the holdup is.
They're not calling back.
They're not. Can a child removed from dyslexia OT because the principal thinks she'll be out of class for too long? Oh, she asked that last night. I'm sorry, we didn't read it last night.
Can a child be removed from dyslexia OT because I don't care what the principal thinks. We're not in the thinking business. We're in the data business. We deliver a child dyslexia product till they've completed that curriculum. And when they're done, then we put them on maintenance.
Yes. We had one earlier. I'm trying to find it. Oh, someone said they're ready to join forces with you and start changing the crippling of our kiddos. Ketosis mama.
I like that. Ketosis. That sounds serious.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm coming to Wisconsin. Is Wisconsin, I'm not kidding. Is it near, sounds terrible, Minnesota? Are they close?
They're right next to each other. They're neighbors.
Oh, good. So I'm going to Minnesota. Am I getting this wrong? I feel like I'm getting it wrong. I'm going to one of the soda states. Going there in April when y'all have like turned the air down. It's a little cold there right now.
We gotta go up north during the summer.
Yes. Jack's mom, we're doing Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio soon on a 2-day, 3-day thing.
Yeah, and if I have anything to do with it, we're going to hit up Pennsylvania and West Virginia while we're there. But you know what?
like we're just in like honk. We're just drive by and honk.
Come on, guys. Someone said, what do they do if they have enough, she feels like she has enough data to go to due process? What should she do?
So you have 6 dispute resolution options. You want to make sure that you've sat down with somebody who has some sense, that does special education full time, and can give you the best recommendations. So in Texas, which is a massive state of 605,000 children on IEP, there are only 6 full-time special ed attorneys. 6. So a lot of you guys are getting information from, I don't know who, but it's bad information. So depending on what happened, our advocates could very clearly direct you to what is the best dispute resolution option. There's 6 of them.
It doesn't look, and maybe it's not a question. Somebody says something in Spanish, and I see you, but I don't speak Spanish.
I do.
Well, there it is. You see it?
No, I don't see it. I'm just kidding. I speak a little Spanish. How do I feel about the I feel like Texas ranks 50th in special education delivery services out of 50. So I'm mortified that we are in last place. I'm mortified that we are the number 1 state in 504s. They're both embarrassing. But I love Texas.
Moira Rose said, because of you, I have improved on how I collect my data on the progress monitoring goals. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. I do want to say really quickly, and then we'll chop this up. Friday, January 6th, I'm leaning into a friend behind me. Friday, January 6th, we're having a press conference at 2 o'clock in the Dallas area. Friday, January 6th, we're having a press conference in the Dallas area. Everyone is welcome. We're going to talk about some shenanigans at a specific school district, and then we're going to open it up for families to share their concerns for Texas. So we'll make a TikTok about that soon. But 2 o'clock 2 p.m. on Friday, January 6th. We'll put out the address in a couple days. It's going to be fantastic. And we will be going live. I was going to say the police will be there. The police part will be there. The news stations will be there. Do we have police? No.
So the Spanish translated to, she would love your training so she could become an awesome advocate.
Come on down.
Now everybody's asking, what district? Where in Dallas? What's going on? What's the tea? They want the tea.
The tea is, we're going to light them up like Christmas Eve. So all the news stations are going to be there, even the Spanish-speaking ones. And then we'll give the address. I'll make a full TikTok, and we'll just, y'all do edit till your little hands fall off. And then please bring yourself, your children, and any of your concerns, any questions. We'll stay there and talk and answer questions and require answers until we're done.
Okay, and last question, because she's asked it multiple times, and I don't want her to think we didn't see her. Does the moderate behavior teacher need any additional certifications, accreditations, schooling, or training?
I don't know specific certifications or test requirements for school-based members. I did not graduate college, but you know what? I'm not a quitter. I went to a lot of them. So I don't know what the specifications are for each state, but I'm sure there's something specific to teach that population. I feel like somebody behind me is in need of a chiropractor. I'm not really sure. The book is, this is the Federal Registry, the Office of the Federal Registry, right? So CFR 300. So this is the 300s through 399. That's where IDEA is. I'm excited about seeing all of you at 2 o'clock January 2nd, live and in person. I will have on my sequin top and my sequin volleyball shorts. You don't want to miss that. So 2 o'clock January 6th in the Dallas area for our press conference. You can get that book on the great Amazon. And then we'll be back. Somebody said they wish. You don't actually wish that. We'll be back Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Any last closing questions, kids? You're muted. All my husbands would have liked if I was muted.
Well, just for everybody who's asking if you can go to their state, they can email that to.
If you want us to come to your state, I don't charge for coming into your state. We've done 7, so I don't know how many states there are, but 7 minus whatever. We're going to the rest of them. Please bring me to Hawaii. Just email advocate@specialeducationacademy.com.
Yes, and then
you live again.
Oh, go ahead, Bonnie.
Oh, someone had asked when you're live again.
We are live Thursday at 7 p.m. for as long as we need. I have to be done now because I have to take a homemade dish that I made to somebody who's not feeling well. It's a quiche. I'm the quiche queen. Quiche me. I'm not kidding. Was that necessary?
Yes, Kiki teacher, you need to be sick that day of the press conference in Dallas.
No, I'm
2 p.m.
2 p.m. January 6th in the Dallas area. It's going to be fantastic.
Yes, all right.
Okay, I'll see you guys Thursday. If you need something, let us know. Remember, when you get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody. We'll see you in the next training.